Alrighty, guys. I hope you all are doing okay. This is my first pedal board video. I hope that everything goes to plan here. Well, today we're going to check out some things on my board. This is my official 2026 board. I have my Strymon BlueSky version 2, fully MIDI compatible, that I'm going to be trying today. I'm playing through it's actually a 2005 Mexican Fender Stratocaster Player 1 series, I believe. And I'm really gonna hone in, like I said, on the BlueSky and also on the Skylar reverb today. I realize there's a lot going on that I'm probably not going to talk about. But essentially the way that it's wired is that everything goes in through my tuner, my compressor, my preamps. I have a pinstripe multi-buffer under my board. And it goes through my noise suppressor, through all my drives, out into the wet effects, and the last things in my signal chain are definitely my reverbs. So my iridium is before, it's in between the wet effects there, to sort of act as a middle ground there. I didn't want my amp cap simulator to be at the end. I definitely love it when the reverb is reverbing the amp itself. So really great. Well, let's get started. Firstly, I just want to walk through the MC6 just really quickly. This settings that I have here don't really necessarily like, I guess the words that I use, like for example, shimmer 1, shimmer 2, and shimmer 3. It doesn't necessarily mean more shimmer. This is the shimmer knob here. I did turn it up for each of my settings, but for shimmer 1, 2, 3. But that's not necessarily the case. There's also some other things I did with the pre-delay and things like that. But you should be able to essentially hear a little bit more shimmer in the mix as I go up 1, 2, 3. The long preset is just for very little shimmer, but a basic reverb that's really medium, really essential. When I'm playing more jubilo, more like fast upbeat music, I need to tone that down, so I just go down to like a medium reverb. That means that my guitar is still doing its thing as far as reverb is concerned, but it's not necessarily as long, and I'll show you guys in a little bit. And to turn it off, I just hit medium twice, and you should see nothing flashing, and basically I have no reverb and the light turns off there. So I also have a second page of reverb, which is right here. I have a hall. I rarely use it, but there's some instances when I'm driving my Skylar. I really like the way that it affects the hall. This is a really interesting tremolo wave reverb that goes in and out. We'll talk about the Holy later, but the space and the hanger are very similar. I think this one just has more pre-delay and then more openness to it. This is kind of like a heavier attack. Holy essentially is almost like I think I did full wet, full mix, zero pre-delay. I mean, this is just like me like gunning all the settings, maybe even some shimmer in there, but it's meant to emulate a pad. And the reason I put Holy on there is because it's almost like soaking music, or like if you look on Spotify or Apple Music, music for prayer and things like that. That's essentially what this effect does. So I'm going to show y'all that today. And I won't talk too much about my Skylar, but I have it on this shimmer setting that I'll show you guys that I usually use, because I more often than not am pairing my Skylar with my BlueSky. So I'll show you some of that today. I'll turn off my delay for now and show some tones real quick. I believe these IRs are from Tone Factor, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that. This is position 3 on the Strat. I'll turn off my reverb completely here. Excellent. Okay. And great. So with some delay, it sounds like this. Okay. And we're just going to walk through the reverbs. I'm going to turn off the delay, so it sounds like this. Okay, and I know there's a little bit of hum. I do apologize for my my Strat pickups there. So let's look at the first one. This is my medium reverb. So very basic. Like I said, usually when I'm doing jubilo like this, some upbeat music. That's usually what I have on. I never really have it off. I do like a little bit of reverb just to kind of bury the guitar into the mix. So that's my little medium setting there. The long setting has a thicker reverb sound. Back to my medium. Off. On. Long. So it's very, it moves. I usually use this with, you know, the verses of the song. Okay, and when I want a little bit more, I go into my shimmer modes. Okay, so shimmer 1 sounds like this. So some stabs there for you. You can hear the shimmer tail. This is what number 2 sounds like. And number 3. So I'll show you those back to back. So overall, you can hear basically that the reverb is just saturating the guitar less and less and less as I go towards off, and as I go up more, it's a thicker reverb, and that's usually how I use it. The heavier the song gets, the more comfortable I feel to add more reverb. Now I do have a second page. And these banks are all different. There's not necessarily more or less. They just do different things. The hall reverb is just that. It's it's very short. Like I said, I usually do pair it with my Skylar, which I'll show later. But it works usually with, like, say, if I turn on a drive. So it's meant to emulate something more in the distance. I really liked the idea of being so buried into the mix that I decided to come out with, like I said, this hall. It says hall, right? Not necessarily a name that's associated with what I'm trying to accomplish with this particular preset. But it tells my reverb now I'm gonna have more room, and it pushes me back into the mix a little bit more. The waves is pretty cool. It's like literally just a trim over a reverb. Sounds like this. It is very potent. I will say that, and you can probably hear some clipping on my signal. It's loud. When I hit that, it is rare, and it is usually what I want an effect, something powerful. When the Holy Spirit is moving, I kind of click on that really quickly, just for 5 seconds. I'll have it on, and then I'll go back to something else. I'll show you all the space in the hanger. As I mentioned before, they sound very similar, very roomy. Lots of room there. This over to the hanger. I'll go to the position 5. Now, if you notice when I switch, it makes a sound. That sound was intentional. I do like that, like a modulation situation that happens there. But hanger is usually it's more heavier, more a little bit. You can hear the shimmer on there. That's included. That's not in that one. And I usually go to this whenever I'm coming out of the Holy. So if I'm dialing back from the Holy, I go to my hanger, and then I usually go into the other presets when we're finally taming down. And so this is what the Holy sounds like. I'm in position 2 now. I'm going to do some small leads. Try to do some swells here. BlueSky, it's just gunning. I probably gun the mix and the decay and maybe a little bit of the pre-delay. It really is just a really wet reverb, and I love it a lot. And so when the moment hits and things are settling down and the Holy Spirit is moving really profoundly, I'll go straight to that holy. I'll go there and the whole room turns into like a prayer room. I mean, it's really really nice. Okay, so now I'm going to introduce the Skylar. The Skylar is, as I mentioned to you, what I use sort of like as a partnership. I don't always, in fact, 90% of the time in worship, I will have this guy on. It's in the shimmer setting, and I think I gunned the parameter and some of the decay on this one, and it sounds like this. I'm gonna turn off my my BlueSky, so this is completely dry, and this is the Skylar. Little stab. Very dark. This is what it sounds like with swells. Shout out to my Lele mono volume pedal. And so yes, I love it a lot. Let's introduce some of the BlueSky. I'm gonna have it medium setting now. This is now my BlueSky medium reverb paired up with my Skylar. Hall setting. Waves.
Excellent. So there's a lot of things going on there. I usually do stay in this first menu. I don't venture out too much into the Holy and in the hanger and the space, and much less on waves and hall. But yes, in this it's called my Sky One bank, and this is really where I live. I have a bank for my timeline, and speaking of which, all of the reverbs that you just heard, I put 0 delay on them, right? So that's all the tone from just my preamps, my buffer, my guitar, my reverb. I'm gonna now introduce some delay. Completely wet with some delay. Medium. Position 3 on the strat. Okay, it's a very simple delay. I have also a dotted 8 delay that sounds like this. Just a delay. Now with some reverb. So you can see as I transition to the hanger, there's more definition. So Holy, no definition at all. You can hear my striking, my picking, or my guitar fingering here. Not at all here. It's almost like I'm not even playing guitar. And in the beginning, you can get a hint of the strings, but then eventually it just drowns out into really just an orchestra. I love it. I love it a lot. Now we're going to introduce the Skylar. Back to my normal delay setting here. Okay, so a lot of stuff happening there. I tried to do some swelling towards the end. Great. Well, right now I'm gonna put on a song and then I'm gonna put it in context. So I'm gonna adjust my tap to the song.
When the shadows all around me and the hardest battles coming at
The Skylar is on.
rushing in like a flood. When my heart is at its farthest and the hardest moments I've imagined, still I know who you are. You are the God of the valleys. You're the God in the storm. And through every battle, yes, I know who you are. You're my anchor of hope in the rage of the seas. You are the God who fights for me. In the shadow of your presence, I can feel your power working in this. You still my fears with your peace. Yeah. It's your glory and your story, and I know your love is working for me. Lord, I know that you are good, 'cause you are the God of the valleys. You're the God in the storm, and through every battle, yes, I know who you are. You're my anchor of hope in the rage of the seas. You are the God who fights for me. And there's no giant too strong that my God can't slay. There's no mountain too big He won't throw to the waves. And there's no weapon that's strong that my God can't break. You're the God who fights for me. You are the God of the valleys. You're the God in the storm, and through every battle, yes, I know who you are. You're my anchor of hope in the rage of the seas. You are the God of victory. You are the God who fights for me.
Okay, so just a little song sample for y'all. I do apologize for my guitar playing. I'm a little bit of a beginner, if you can believe that. I just really love pedals. But thank you guys. I know I didn't go a lot in depth into the BlueSky and the Skylar. I do apologize. This is not really a video about the Morningstar or the Skylar or the Big Sky. I just wanted to introduce, I guess, a practical method that a controller can be used with reverbs and stacking reverbs. It is very important, right, that you sort of experiment what exactly is a medium to low reverb versus a thicker reverb versus gain staging the reverbs when you're stacking them. What I mean by that is that there are settings on the reverb for the reverb to be louder and so or softer when they come in. And so if you have more shimmer, maybe you turn down the mix a little bit, etc. You know, there's different things. It wasn't just let me turn up a knob and then the preset is there. You know, different things happened with the BlueSky as I'm creating those presets. But they've been the presets that I've been using for a couple years now. I love it a lot. And also keep in mind that the drives change everything too. I don't on this video I probably won't show any drives, but I mean they affect the reverb obviously because the drives come before the reverb, and so when the reverb is reverberating the drives, all that dirt sort of takes into effect what's happening with the reverb. But I hope you guys enjoyed this very short video, and thank you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.